What is up, everybody? Back again with another video. Today, we're going to be doing something different. I decided to ask Reddit their opinions on the transfer rumor of Alexander Isak to Liverpool, why it will work or why it will not work. I basically wrote a little blurb. I was just trying to be a little bit of both sides. I said how I saw it could work, but I saw how some people are really comparing it to Mbappe to Real Madrid, where you're signing all of these elite players, but it might override the system. And now these players don't fit perfectly in the system, kind of just like signing Mbappe when you already have Vinicius. They kind of like to play in the same areas. They both don't like to track back. You saw it not work extremely well, although Mbappe had really great individual stats. It didn't result in winning. So that is a bit of the issue. But I asked Reddit, and they're giving me their thoughts. I'm going to be going through some of these comments, and I'm going to be giving my opinion. So the first comment I see is, Ekitike was bought on potential. I don't think he will come in and score that many goals in his debut season in the Prem. If Liverpool bring in Isak and also have Ekitike to develop, although Isak isn't that old, they would be a force to be reckoned with. I disagree with you if they bring in Isak. I think it does result in them winning the league again and possibly even the UCL. See, I don't disagree with these takes. I think Alexander Isak is one of the best strikers in all of the world. I just do think I am a little bit confused by spending 90 million euro on Ekitike and then signing Alexander Isak. And I know people have been saying, well, Ekitike plays in a two-striker system. People forgot about that. I understand that, but that doesn't mean Arne Slot plays in a two-striker system. So did you sign Ekitike for 90 mil to be a backup to Alexander Isak, which is fine if you have the ability of doing that. But now you're wasting a little bit of the potential of a youngster that you bought for a lot of money, thinking that he can come in and be the number one striker and provide a lot of goals, gain a lot of experience. Or did you sign him, and now since Alexander Isak made himself available afterwards, after the signing, now you're just trying to sign a player, one of the best players that is available, which is smart. That's great business. If you're able to afford that, you should go and do that. But now are you sacrificing the vision of your squad and your playing style just to bring in really great players? Because when you do that, I do tend to think it could be like a Real Madrid, where now you're sacrificing your style of play, your system, your tactics that won you the league to fit in all of these players. Are you now going to put Ekitike out at left wing? I've seen people say, well, they could play a two-striker system. Well, what? Are you going to be playing Mohamed Salah a little bit further back when he's been your best player for 8 years now, and he's always been playing as an inside forward in the right-hand side? That's a little bit of the thoughts I have with that. But I agree with the take. I think bringing in Isak does, I don't know about winning the league again, but I think it really does help with the UEFA Champions League extremely. Moving on next is this comment that I saw is, Liverpool fan, they're changing too much in one season to be immediately successful. The attack will take time to learn to play together with or without Isak, and the defense will probably suffer with unfamiliar players in front of them. It's a big gamble after winning the league. I can see the logic in getting a rebuild done all at once rather than constantly disrupting a team, but it would be a lot to ask. And they compete for the title next season with at least 4, maybe 5 new first teamers and a new formation. Not to mention the mental trauma of Diogo passing, which will affect them. I think they will come good after a betting-in period, probably towards the end of the season. Hopefully the ability of the star players will be enough. See, this is a bit of what I'm thinking as well. I think bringing in so many new players to now override the entire team, override the system, override everything. You've been focusing on just this continuity of Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz has been there for years. You've had this continuity for years, and now you're changing left wing, you're changing striker. You might even change your system and your tactic to really pander to all these players that you're bringing in. So now you might even change your system. You're changing your right back. You're changing your left back. Konate might leave, so maybe you're going to be changing your center back because you don't want to be giving Konate minutes when you know at the end of the season he might just go to Real Madrid on a free. There are a lot of these issues where I think bringing in all of these players, although they are elite, I don't know if this instantly results in winning in your first season. I do kind of agree with, you're getting a rebuild done all at once. You're bringing in 2 strikers. Both are versatile and can play on the left wing. They've done it before. And you're kind of trying to set up for, if Mohamed Salah leaves in a season or two, you already have this attacking force left behind that can really react to Mohamed Salah's goals leaving and still stay up there and compete for everything. That's why they even brought in a Frimpong. I think Frimpong isn't going to be playing right back too much for them. I think eventually it's going to be more of a right wing, is just switching in and out with Mohamed Salah since he is getting older and he might be leaving soon. But I think there is a slight overreaction with, oh, they're signing Alexander Isak. They just are going to win the league easily now. I think Arsenal have really bolstered their squad and they finally got a number 9 that they have needed for years now. I think Manchester City did such a great amount of business early in the transfer window. Signed a left back, signed Cherky. They've signed so many. They just signed a new goalkeeper. They've signed Omar Marmoush in the January transfer window. They really do have a full squad again. So injuries like last year isn't going to affect them as much. So they'll be able to be just as consistent. I don't know if Liverpool can be as consistent as they were last season just because they bring in an Alexander Isak. I also do think about the depth sometimes. They really are lacking in midfield. If Gravenberch gets hurt, who's the new 6? Are you really going to play Endo? Are you going to make McAllister play the 6? But if McAllister's playing the 6, he's not playing where he was last season, which he was amazing at. I think the center back position is very, very light. Like I said, Konate, if he gets injured, then what? You're playing Joe Gomez. It is a bit of a predicament. The next comment says 4-4-2 Diamond a la Ancelotti era Milan. Again, 4-4-2 Diamond, I just don't think Arne Slot, that's not really his system. This isn't that era anymore. I think this is more of a meme. But you don't want to sacrifice someone like Mohamed Salah and his output to compensate for getting Ekitike and Isak, who have neither of them have ever had the output of Mohamed Salah. So you still want your system pandering specifically to Mohamed Salah while he still has enough juice. And then once you see that the goal output is really, really dwindling, then you can move on to a different system. This guy says they need another winger more than they need another striker. And then the first comment, Liverpool fan saying Gakpo, Rio, and Wama reverts. Ekitike can even play out there. We will be selling Nunez, Chiesa. Listen, I think Gakpo is actually a really good left wing. I think relying on a 16-year-old, I don't think so. I've seen him in the preseason. He's been playing well, but again, this is the preseason. You are playing against worse competition, and again, everyone's getting subbed out at half. This isn't a competitive game. I think again, the Verts Ekitike, you're not signing Verts for 100+ million euro to play him at left wing. You want to play him where he's played at Bayern Leverkusen, which is in behind the striker, the 10. And Ekitike plays as a striker, so why would you spend 90 million euro on him to make him go out and be a left winger? I kind of do agree with you. You do need another winger. I don't think that means you can't have both strikers. He is right. Nunez is leaving. Diogo Jota did unfortunately pass away. Rest in peace. I think even mentioning Chiesa, there's no point because Chiesa didn't even really play at all last season. He wasn't even in the squad. But I do think having another striker signing 2 strikers is great, especially with Darwin Núñez probably leaving. I don't think they both had to be 100 million euro strikers. I think that's a bit of the issue in my mind. But if you could do it, you could do it. Acting like you want Verts or Ekitike to play out on the left wing is what I think a lot of fans are coping with. You don't want them playing those positions. Although they can play there, you don't want that. You want them playing in their proper position. That's why you signed them for so much money. And now I'm just going to sort this by best. I really want to see what the most reactions are getting. First comment is, why will it not work? Isak's only issue is injuries, and they have Ekitike to cover that. I mean, I don't disagree. I think there's a high probability of it working. I'm not even here to argue that it won't work. I'm just here to see what people think. I wanted to see if the Mbappe to Real Madrid transfer, seeing him get a lot of individual stats but not winning any trophies, I wanted to see if that resonates with people and they kind of think that Liverpool are doing the same thing. But it seems like it's not. I do agree. Ekitike could be cover for that, and Isak's only issue is injury, so you are getting cover, which isn't a bad idea. Typical Arsenal fan, it will work because I don't want it to. Hey, man, I feel you. Isak is one of the best strikers in the world. I think 130 million euros a lot. I think getting Gyökeres for around 70 is great business, and I think he could be just as good, if not better, next season for Arsenal than Isak is for Liverpool if the transfer is made. It should work, but there's a lot of change all happening at once. It might take a season for things to click with all the new faces. See, this is kind of what I've been getting at. I think a lot of transfers are being done. It is the same manager, but this is only his second season in the Prem. I know that he won it the first season, but again, first season he's only had one season of experience here. Second season, you haven't done it over this long period of time. I could see a little bit of stumbling happening, but you never know, man. Hey, everyone could hit the ground running. Isak, Frimpong, Kirkez, all these players can come in and just hit the ground running, and they could run it back again, win another Premier League. I don't think it will happen, but it can. A Newcastle fan just saying, just don't think he's that good. To be honest, never rated the kid. More trouble than he's worth. No, man, I feel you. I think, honestly, I didn't think Isak would be pushing so hard for a move. I thought Newcastle being in the Champions League would really make him want to stay and prove that kind of elevating a team like Newcastle to new heights. I felt like some players would really love that, and I was kind of hoping Isak would be one of those players where he wants to stay at least for one season in the Champions League and see what he could do with the team that he brought to the Champions League. It really is sad that he is leaving and pushing for a move so aggressively. I'll take this last comment. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Liverpool signed Ekitike before Isak told Newcastle he wanted to move. No transfer guarantees. Sanchez flopped at United. That is a really great point. Alexis Sanchez was one of the best players at Arsenal, one of the best players in the Premier League or the world at a certain point. And he went to Manchester United and he completely flopped. Torres did flop at Chelsea as well. Coutinho flopped at Barcelona. I kind of saw that one coming, and the fee was insane. And Carroll flopped at Liverpool. Liverpool are fortunate in that they are already successful with the squad they have. In fact, with a better squad around him, it's more likely he'll get even better. But if for some reason it doesn't work out, it won't be a disaster for Liverpool. I agree. I think if you sign Alexander Isak and he's just injury-ridden and he doesn't get to produce the way he did for Newcastle, I think Liverpool are still fine. It's not like a Manchester United situation. If Manchester United go and they signed Rasmus Højlund and Xerxes and they haven't worked out, look, it was a disaster. Now, if they go and they purchase Sesko and he doesn't work out, it will be a disaster for them. They don't have that overall level of squad just yet, although they did sign Mbeumo and Cunha. I think those are good deals. I think they would need one more transfer window to where if they signed a striker and he flopped, it wouldn't be a complete disaster. But I do agree. I think Liverpool's squad is still good enough to where they have individual players to just elevate them in Mohamed Salah and Cody Gakpo and Dominic Szoboszlai and Wirtz. So I do think he is correct. If Isak goes to Liverpool and it flops, I think it won't be that big of a deal. I think they'll still be able to be in the top six very easily, unlike somebody like Manchester United. But let me know what you guys think. These are random Reddit people telling me their thoughts about the Alexander Isak transfer and why they think it'll work. I think there's a high probability he'll be good, but I don't think that will result in them winning the league this season. But I think it will result in them having a little bit deeper of a Champions League run. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for tuning in.